The United States and many cities have now hit their breaking points. Many people say we are now at a catastrophe. There is a lot of problems, and the United States currently is in panic mode. I'm going to explain what's going on in just a moment, but now we are not hearing about there's a crisis at the southern border. We're now hearing that there's a crisis at all states. All continental United States are feeling the impacts of what is going on at the U.S. southern border. It's not just California, it's not just Arizona, not just New Mexico, and not just Texas. Every single state is now feeling the effects. Now, I'm going to explain what's going on in just a moment, but many police officers are highly concerned. The FBI is extremely concerned, and Homeland Security has no clue if this is ever going to get fixed. So, I'll break down what's going on in just a moment. All I ask is one thing. It takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now, let's begin. So it's not just the American people that are calling the crisis down at the southern border a catastrophe. That's what we've heard from Speaker Mike Johnson. We've heard that from President Joe Biden. And we've heard that from many people. Just listen to this right here, and we're going to see why this is turning into a crisis.
The President and his team continue working to deliver a historic bipartisan agreement on the border. House Republicans have a choice to make. They can keep playing politics, or they can work in a bipartisan way to secure the border. Sadly, this is not new. For years, they have refused to heed the President's request for action on much-needed funding for border security.
Now, one thing I want to tell you right there is she just came out and said that for years, they have not provided President Biden with the funding, okay, in order to improve border security. Well, guess what? Congress also didn't provide former President Donald Trump with funding when it came to building that border wall. He had to shut the United States government down. They were shut down for weeks before they ever decided to put any money up to build that border wall. And guess what? President Biden has admitted that the border wall has worked. It's not been 100% effective. It's been a deterrent. It's not a wall that's keeping people out. It's deterring people from going to that section of the U.S. border. But some say that is exactly what we need. Now, let me show you this. Because again, it's not just the states along the border that are feeling the effects. Colorado is also feeling the effects, specifically Denver. It says Denver is struggling to stay afloat, facing pressing budgetary concerns after arrival of 38,000 migrants. Now, we're going to hear from the Denver mayor in just a moment, but I want to read you a couple things that's happening in Denver. First, the Denver School District is now $17.5 million short on funding as a result of more migrant children coming into the system. Also, the Denver Post reports that there is $136 million in uncompensated health care. Now, this is not a 100% on illegal immigrants. The $136 million, this is mostly from illegal immigrants that are not paying their bills. But there's still a substantial amount of money, there's still millions of dollars in here, that is just from citizens that are not able to pay their bills. Okay? So keep in mind, it's a mix, but it's $136 million not going to hospitals. Now, I want to play you this from the mayor. Just listen to this, and I want to hear your thoughts in just a moment.
The city is very close to its breaking point now. We don't want to cut core city services, but right now we're in this dilemma where we can't get any help from the federal government on work authorization or on controlling entry or on the ability to actually provide resources to cities.
So he is saying he's trying to work with the federal government to get additional resources, right, to expedite work authorization, right? So just those things alone. This is a massive issue, and here's why. Many illegal immigrants that are entering into the United States at this point, they're entering in with no money, okay? They have absolutely no money, okay? Nothing. They're not coming in with hundreds of dollars. Okay, they are not coming in with hundreds of dollars. What they're coming in with is a little bit of money. Okay, $41 right here. Okay, that's what they're coming in with. That's not going to get you far. It's not going to get you a hotel room. It's not going to get you new clothes. It's not going to get you a cab ride or an Uber ride from one place to another. People are going to be walking, or they're going to be begging. They're going to be hitchhiking. Okay? What we're seeing right now is so many people are waiting for too long for a work permit. Even though the Biden administration has said they're going to expedite work permits. Guess what? They're expediting work permits for people that are here legally. Okay? People that are asylum seekers. That's who they're expediting work permits for. Not for people that are illegals in the United States. But yet, the misinformation from Mexico, from other countries is, you come into the United States, you will get a work permit. You just have to get here. That's not true. And so now, all these people that are coming in, they either have to work illegally, which many people are, or second option, which we're seeing all across the United States, is now they are pretty much threatening people, they're stealing, or they're begging. Okay? A lot of times it comes to begging, threatening, and then they steal. If they beg for something, you don't give it to them, they threaten you. And again, not everybody, but too many. But here is what's happening, and this is turning into a massive concern. Just look at this. Denver's a surge in migrant squeegee workers is presenting a new safety concern. Because people, and again, and I've said this before, okay, this is what they do down in Mexico. This is what they do in other countries. Look at this. This guy has his squeegee right here, just like you'd see at a gas station. No big deal, right? But in his hand is a water bottle. In the water bottle, they poke a hole in the top of it. Okay, they poke a little hole in the top or multiple holes. They put soap and water in this. And then they squirt this on the window and they squeegee it off. Okay, it's a great little hustle down in Mexico. And you can get, 25 pesos. You can get 100 pesos just for cleaning off a window. Right? Great little side hustle. But here in the United States, it's concerning because number one, you are not technically allowed to work. You can't be on the side of a road or in a busy highway, right? Or at an intersection. We don't like that, right? But that's what's happening. And then people are fighting at those intersections, especially the busy ones, because it's like, well, that's my intersection. Get out of here. And so now you got two migrants going after each other. And that's turning into a major issue as well. But it goes even farther than that. Because here's what's also happening, and this is why some people say this is a complete disaster. Look at this. There's now a New York City migrant pickpocketing ring. There were teams are, according to the report, the newest headache for the New York Police Department. Okay? What's happening now is there's pickpocketing teams. And here's what normally happens, just to give you an idea. Okay? If you feel something on the front of you, something touch you on the front, you usually are not concerned with what's happening in the back, especially if you're seeing what's going on in the front. Okay? So here's what usually happens. You usually have a team of people. It's usually 2 or 3. One person's a distraction. One person usually bumps into you. Okay? So they bump into you. You feel that, oh, sorry, whatever. Right? As somebody pickpockets you in the back. That's normally what happens. Or for women that have a purse. Okay? If the purse is open, you make sure you zip it closed if it has a zipper. But here's what happens. Someone bumps into you on the opposite side of your purse. You're distracted. You turn, right? Your purse on the other side. That's where the pickpocket happens. Okay? It is happening all the time now. There's teams of people. This is going on, so you need to be aware of this. Right? Now, I want to play you a clip from Speaker Mike Johnson. This is actually a 30-minute long video. I'm not going to play 30 minutes. I'll play about maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes of it. But just understand what he's talking about in here is stuff that we are seeing today. This is why he is saying that this is a complete catastrophe. Because of what's going on. We haven't fixed the United States border. Right? We haven't fixed it. Let me play you this clip.
Today, however, I need to address the burning issue. The unprecedented challenge that we find ourselves in demands that we all address the issue of the day. And it is no surprise to anyone in this chamber that that issue is America's border security. And as I said here on the night that I took my oath, we have a catastrophe at our southern border.
He said this over 100 days ago, that we have a catastrophe at our U.S. southern border. Guess what? Hasn't been fixed. He's been fighting this for more than 100 days. Now, I'm not here to tell you that the Republicans have all the answers and that their plan is going to work. It's going to be flawless and the United States is going to be better. No. All I'm saying is that the plan that Republicans have is we are going to limit the amount of people that are coming into the United States. The plan that Democrats have, again, says that we would limit the amount of people coming into the United States, but we're giving a maximum number, which technically can turn into a threshold. That's the issue. So again, both parties don't have the perfect plan, but based off what is happening in the United States today, the Republican plan would likely be the better option.
It is because the border has been deliberately opened wide that we see the terrific horrors that are taking place across our country right now. Here's a short list. From Texas to New York, waves of illegal immigrants are now overwhelming our communities. Just since the time I was elected Speaker, less than 100 days ago, more than 700,000 illegals have been welcomed into our country illegally by the Biden administration. American school children have been forced into virtual schools. Why? So migrants can sleep in their school buildings.
And if you think that's tough, right? Why would they do such a thing? Well, it is what they're doing. Okay, migrants in New York City, they were temporarily housed at a local school during a storm. The school didn't shut down. They went virtual. That's what happened. They did virtual schooling in order to make sure those people weren't out in the cold. And I completely get that. Completely understand that. We're also seeing in Chicago, buses line the street at night during the winter storm. They lined the streets at night. They ran all night long. People just went into the bus to stay warm. That was it. But that's happening all across the United States. But again, this is taking from citizens. This is taking from the taxpayers, right? How do we fund these things? That's turning into an issue. Let's keep listening to this.
Korean War veterans of the U.S. have been booted from nursing homes that were sold to house migrants.
Now you think that one's interesting, right? Like, why would somebody be kicked from their home? Well, that's exactly what's happening. A 95-year-old war veteran, he's kicked out of his nursing home to make way for a migrant housing. Okay, 95 years old. He's lived there for, I think, 5 years. Kicked from his home. Okay, just kicked from his home because it was sold to the city so that they can go and house migrants. Again, how does that make you feel? Let's keep listening.
Our streets are being flooded with fentanyl. Hundreds of thousands of children and adults are being poisoned and losing their lives. Vulnerable children and women are being exploited and trafficked by cartels, and that's happening even within our borders. The fallout goes on and on and on. And I am here this morning to beg of my colleagues to help us force the administration to take action. We have to stop this now and put Americans and Americans' border security first.
So right there, he's saying that he's asking his colleagues to force the issue. Force it. Because we have to ensure that the U.S. southern border is taking priority. That the American people come first. He's saying the American people come first before people from Ukraine, people from Israel, people from other countries that are expected to see funding because the Biden administration is asking for it. He's saying we need to ensure that our country, that our homeland is protected first. And that is where Republicans have come out and said this for many months, that they are going to force the issue. They're going to force Democrats to listen to them. That's exactly what is happening. This is also why some say this is going to be one of the hardest years in the history of the United States because of what we are now fighting for. We're fighting for security at our U.S. southern border to protect all states in the United States. So we're going to see what happens moving forward. All I can tell you right now, this issue is officially a catastrophe because it's not just impacting the border states, it's impacting all states. So we'll see what happens moving forward. All I can tell you is I will be here every step of the way. I'll fill you in on all the latest news and updates. All I ask is two things. First, hit the like button if you enjoyed today's video. Also, click that subscribe button so you never miss an update. And I will see you guys on the next one.